All right, here we go. It's loud. I need to just change my thing to see if a perfect volume to start on, so I don't have to turn it down every fucking time, because it always starts out on 100. Okay. About to say Egg Gaines Farm. They just don't say shit. You're just flabbergasted. Oh, I guess she's dead since no one helped her.
Jack, please find her.
He walked out. He looked more like annoyed than.
I'll go take a nap.
Boy.
I'm coming with you.
Take a nap.
Don't tell me no.
Take a nap. You just found a
That's
dead
my daughter
body.
out there with that fucking maniac. That's Haley. Please.
Take a nap. What?
I have to be alone. Keep your
Hope I didn't fuck up the. I might have to get another mic. This one's starting to act up, and so is this web camera. Might get a camera, just like a regular camera, just sitting. I could use my phone. It's actually got a decent camera. It actually is clearer than the fucking webcam. and his phone is older than my damn webcam.
V. I found Allison. She's dead.
Hold on, I'll get the captain.
Are they the police? Because they seem more like, I mean, it's their sister, but they don't seem like like a person who is not around a whole lot of dead bodies. When they see a dead body, especially in a situation like this where it's strung up like that, like handcuffed, like they're not acting how you would think a person would act. But everyone deals with grief differently. Some people being shot. One left. This snow outside? They filmed this at different times. I didn't see any snow where he drove from. Was he like a psychic or something? Okay, what did he? Oh, okay. He's having a. He's. I can't find her in the physical world, so I will find her on the astral plane. And then a demon's gonna go in his body. And he's out of it, having an out of body experience. Should do a movie where the reverse happens. It's like instead of a demon, it's like an angel that possessed the body. It's like, I want to live amongst humans. Like, this is my body now. And they had to exorcise the angel out of the body. It's about to have a jump scare. Some rain shit. Get back in your body. Unless she's not actually there, she's on the astral plane too. I would have got back in my body because I'm like, is this actually happening or is this happening on the astral plane? Be safe, Jack. Fucking nightmare. Marvel.
If we really couldn't save her,
The God rays coming in. God is on my side.
be here.
He like, he looked at him like, how did you know? Oh, he got a spirit knife. So what, the killer can go on the astral plane? Or what does it say, Villain River? I guess the
Where?
rules of the Matrix don't apply.
Old Williams Mill.
That's an hour from here.
Not from here.
Now from
I'll
here,
ask you to-
is he Australian? That's an hour from there if you drive the speed limit. It's 30 minutes if you drive 100 miles an hour. But what kind of killer is this that's also on the astral plane? Like, they should. I wonder if they done a movie like that where, you know, they have movies where there's a killer and there's a psychic that helps them find a killer, but then they discover that the killer is also a psychic, and then the psychic who's helping the police and the psychic killer fight on the astral plane. Maybe I'll write that like I used to do when I was a kid, just write a bunch of stories. Yeah, I'm gonna be a writer someday. And that didn't happen. Oh, they kill her already? Is that blood? What is that? Or is it just water? Don't turn your back to the dark entrance. Oh, she's still alive? Okay, she's still alive. Why didn't you call the police to tell them, like, is this a killer here? Or do you have a gun, or do you just bring a crowbar? No, I would like, untie me first. Like, when she saw something, I'm like, I got a weapon. You got a weapon though, but oh, he stabbed him through his foot. Get the crowbar. That's why I say you should have untied her first. why didn't you call the police to meet you there? Like, she don't got no weapon. That'd be crazy. She put out like a 45 or something. Just like, bye. Wait, she got a gun. Okay, she's a smart one. Are you going to? I mean, he had at least a crowbar, but then he gets stabbed in the fucking foot. I don't know why he fell forward like that. He killed him. Oh, maybe you will be better. Oh, he's still moving.
Isla?
Hey, tell her to be careful. He's around here. Where's your crowbar? Oh, he killed him. Oh, don't walk in there. So this is a separate entity? Like, is he like possessing this dude? Wait, what the fuck did he shoot himself with? What was that? They're like a needle. Did he shoot himself with adrenaline? What was? Oh, he did. Take 3 to the chest. Shoot him in the head.
I'm alright.
Wait, what was that entity that was holding him?
It's okay.
Like, is that a demon that possessed the killer to do these crazy things? Or not possessed, but like encouraged him to do it? He just knocked him out, like he killed him. It's like, oh, his spirit is out of his body. He's dead. Like, she brought a gun. Like I said, why did you bring the police?
Sorry, no sugar?
Bonsoir?
Hey, you knew where she was at. Should have been like, let's call the police. And she's a cop. Why didn't she call the fucking police? I'm putting together a team. This music is so dramatic. There's Samuel Jackson comes in. That was an idea. That was actually pretty good. That was very I don't know. I guess say suspenseful. I had a feeling. I didn't think that was gonna end like well, because Altered, like they movies, they short films. They don't usually end. I don't think I remember any of them ending like well. For like, if there's a good person or someone like is the the protagonist, or I guess it don't usually end happy for them. I guess like it's not like this, or he didn't die. I'm thinking, oh, he's dead and he's having an out of body experience, but then he came back and she was able to shoot. I was like, oh, he's going to like stab. He's like, oh, I'm not in my body. And then she gets stabbed. And then it ends with him, I don't know, turning them into like human dolls or some shit. I was like, oh, it's actually, he didn't get stabbed. I guess he knocked him out or something. I don't know if I got, but he got knocked out of his body onto the astral plane again. And then get himself back in time for her to shoot that guy. So, and then there's like, oh, we have another case, little boy. All right, I'm trying to form a team. Have they done a show like that? They do a lot of shows where there's a pathologist and a detective, and they usually add some type of premise to it. Like, I know, like in Rosewood, it was just a pathologist and detective, but he was very charismatic and attractive pathologist who instead of working for like the state, he was a independent and ran his own business and stuff like that. But he was really good, you know. And then he worked alongside, of course, the very attractive. He was the male and the very attractive female detective, obviously. It was just funny because, like, have they had a show where it's like two females or two males? Like, it's a male pathologist and a male detective, or a female and pathologist, a female detective. It's always like a male and female because they have to have a love story in there. Like they can't just be colleagues. They have to have some type of forced love story in there eventually. They did that. Like I've been watching Castle recently, and they do that in that. I think I'm on season 2, and they did that in there. Well, that makes sense. They started there from the very get go. Like he had some type of interest. Like he had interest in her. She had interest in him. But of course, she's playing hard to get because she don't want him to think that he just gets what he wants because he's famous and he can almost have whatever woman he wants. So she's playing hard to get the whole time. But then they're doing this whole jealous tip tap thing where they bring in a woman with him, and then she and the detective jealous, or they bring in a guy with her. Like I think last episode I was on, they brought in a detective that asked her out and stuff, and he was jealous. I'm like, why didn't you just ask her out then? Like you doing all this bullshit, and now somebody else asked her out, and now you jealous. Like, she just asked her out. You know, they did that in the show. It was only one season and forever, but the gimmick in that was it was a female detective and a male pathologist. I hope it is pathologist. I'm not wrong. But he was working for the police department. He was like the ME police for the the autopsies and everything. But twist, he's actually immortal. Like and he's been alive for almost 300 years or something like that. I think about 250 years, something like that. But he don't know why he's immortal. He's just immortal, that type of thing. Maybe I'll react to it because it's only one season. I thought about reacting to Almost Human too with Carl Urban and Michael Ealy because it's one season, but it ends on a cliffhanger, which irritates me. And I've seen that season 1 of that, I think twice all the way through because I enjoyed it because I watched it when it was on TV, and I watched it on Hulu, I think, because I didn't actually watch it on TV, and then they canceled it after that. They ended on a fucking cliffhanger. I hated that. And, like I know they don't want to pump any more money into it, but they're like, damn it, why'd you have to end on a cliffhanger? Why couldn't you just end the season? I'm not the series. Well, no, the season, and then go to the next thing. But you had to end on a cliffhanger, and then you're like, oh, we actually not we're not renewing the show. It's like fuck. But Yeah, they do that with it. Like I wonder they had a have they had a psychic? I know in back in the day they had psych. What? But he was a fake psychic. But he was like hyper. He like hyper awareness or some shit like that. And then they brought in the female detective, but he also had a male detective that didn't like him and didn't take his shit. But then then they also had Gus, which was his friend, who was which was funny because like Sean, because Sean Spencer was the one who was the fake psychic. He was like very hyper aware of things. Like he noticed little details that the average, or even like a detective or a trained detective might miss. He was like very hyper aware. I forget what the term is called, but he was like he could notice very little details, and he had like photographic memory and shit like that. And then Gus, who was his best friend, was actually very intelligent, and I mean they kind of almost did like a if you really look at it, they almost did like a Watson and Sherlock Holmes type thing, where Gus was Watson and then Sherlock Holmes. Well, I mean, Sean was Sherlock Holmes, but they switched it to where Sean is not very intelligent. He has a photographic memory, but he's not. He kind of coasts through life. He doesn't really take things seriously. But Gus, he's very serious, and he doesn't coast through life. So he's almost the exact opposite of Sean, but their best friend. So a lot of times you see, especially because they didn't have, because that's one thing you have in, like, I know with Sherlock Holmes, you almost feel like, why is anybody else necessary? Like like why is Watson here? It's almost like Watson's just here for him to just Sherlock Holmes to just tell him stuff that he's thinking, that Sherlock Holmes is thinking, and then Watson is okay, and that's it. It doesn't feel like it's a give and take type of thing. It's like, oh, it is like they do certain episodes. Like I know, like I'm thinking about the movie or even the TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch, where it's like they might have something where like, oh, they might deal with something medical, and Watson is a doctor, so it's like, oh, this is expertise or something. But I think the show Elementary did it very good, where um, Watson or Lucy Liu's character, because she played Watson in the show, uh, like they play well off of each other. Like it wasn't like she's just there just because we need a Watson, because this is a Sherlock Holmes and Watson thing. They He gave a reason for her to be there. And then even with the police, like he was working with the police, and you look at that, it's almost like Batman. Like the police can't be competent, because otherwise you're like, why the fuck is Batman even there? So it's the same way with Sherlock Holmes. But at least with that, they actually have like the detective in there. I forget his name, the black guy, in Elementary, where he wasn't like he gave input and information and stuff like that, where he felt important. Like he wasn't just there, Like in the movies with Robert Downey Jr., like the police seem so incompetent. They're like, why don't they there just to arrest people? Because Sherlock Holmes can't, because he's not a cop. So they're there just when he solves the crime, they come in, swoop in, and arrest the guy. That's what and prosecute him. That's what their job is. They're not. But even with Watson, and then I would say in the movie, Watson is more there just to make sure Sherlock Holmes stays like sane. It's almost like he's connecting him to the real world. Like that's his middleman. And then of course in the first movie, he's Watson is getting married, so it's that Sherlock Holmes is kind of acting like a dick because he feels like Watson's wife is taking him away from Sherlock Holmes, from their perfect partnership. But then Sherlock Holmes, I'm not happy. I mean, Watson's like, I'm not happy with this. Watson is a normal person who wants to move on with his life. But even at the beginning, he was kind of like, we can. I mean, he was like, well, this is my last case. But then he was like, you enjoy this. You can't say that you don't. And Watson didn't want to admit it, but he actually enjoyed working with Sherlock Holmes, even though Sherlock Holmes is a dick. But I would say you gotta have, you know, importance. Like even in Rosewood with uh in that show, like even though with Blair, what's his name? It's not Blair Underwood. It's Morris Chestnut. Getting my black people mixed up. Like he was, a very intelligent guy, everything. But when they brought in the female Latina detective, she wasn't just there just to arrest people. Like she had input. She was intelligent and stuff like that. So it was like things that she knew as far as like the law. Like what's his name? Morris Chestnut's character was very knowledgeable of, you know, the human body, even like crime scene science or whatever, forensic science or whatever. And but also the detective was as well, but she was also more knowledgeable of the law. Like she would point out things to him. We can't do that because, that would be admissible in court and stuff like that. She pointed out things like that. So and then of course she had the gun. She was like they were both tough, but she was like, the trained cops. So she was a little bit tougher. It's just like you feel like you gotta have all your characters serve a purpose. You can't have them be like why is this person here? Like I said with Batman and the GCPD, like you feel like why are they here? They're like they're only there just to arrest the people that Batman gets. That's it. They don't. You almost feel like they don't do anything. That's what it's like in the show Gotham. You actually at least see them do something because Batman isn't there. So you get to see how life was prior to Batman showing up. Where we did solve crime, but then you found out the whole goddamn police precinct is corrupt. Prior to that, the only one that it seems to not be corrupt is Jim Gordon, and then people trying to kill him because he doesn't want to play ball and be corrupt like everybody else. Like I can't trust you because you're not corrupt. But it says like I like if they did a show where there's a psychic, I mean a legitimate psychic. They did the fake psychic because I don't think they ever had a show where there was a psychic and a cop working together. Like I said, I know psych, but that was a fake psychic, and which was actually pretty good. They probably wanted to add that little thing, like, oh, he's actually not a psychic, and they had to add that little like mystery, almost like because he's hiding his secret that he's actually not a real psychic because the police would I mean, you've seen the first I think it was in a pilot episode of like why he pretended to be a psychic because it was trying to like get himself out of it because they thought he was the one who actually did the crime because he was like how would you know this, how would you know that, but it's because he noticed things. He's like, oh, I noticed this, I noticed that, and it's like you couldn't notice that without actually being involved in a crime. And then he was like, well, I guess he couldn't tell him he's just hyper aware because they were just like gonna charge him. Like, you got no evidence. How you gonna charge him with anything just because he knew? It's like details that only the perpetrator would know. Like he's like, I figured it out, and they're like, that's impossible. And so he's like, well, I'm actually I'm psychic. Like it was like the first thing came to mind. Like I'm psychic, and then they paid him for that. He's like, oh, because the type of person Sean is, he's like, oh, I can work with the police force and not because I think he tried to join the police force, but I can't remember exactly what he said. I think they said he wasn't. I think he said like I wasn't dumb enough because because he was too intelligent or something to be a police force. I don't remember. It was something like he failed like the psych evaluation part or something like he scored off the charts on the or high on the like just the mental or just the actual test, but then like the psych evaluation, he scored low on it. And I mean, of course, they talk about like his mental state, like he's very free type guy. Like he's had, because even Gus, they do that through the series. Like Gus is like, you ever held down a steady job in like 10 years, like, and he was gone. He wasn't even living in. I think it was Santa Monica. I think that show takes place, and he moves back in Santa Monica, but after his mother died. Um, but yeah. Anyway, I've been talking too long, so hope you enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. If you're subscribing new here, hit that bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below, share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.